Summer means that things may be a little bit different, but it wouldn't be the Prospector if we didn't have a podcast. And despite us not being in our regular studio, we have been invited inside of the education building, shout out Brittany, to film the first episode of the Summer Spinoff of the Prospector podcast. And today, we are meeting all of the editors on our staff, both old and new faces. But if you don't feel at home quite yet because of the change in setting, well, don't worry, because Kristian Hernandez is still with us at the Prospector podcast. So stay tuned. This is episode 1 of the Summer Spinoff. I'm Sebastian Perez-Navarro. So this is a little bit of a different setting, and by a little bit, I mean a lot. First, we are in somewhere new, the education building. Shout out to Brittany Ramirez for hooking us up. We love you, Brittany, and welcome to the Prospector Podcast Summer Spinoff. This is too short to be a season, and yeah, so let's get into it. Kristian, welcome back. Kristian Hernandez sitting down to my left, who got promoted, by the way. Congrats on your promotion. We have someone new, but I'll skip over them first and talk to Iziah. Iziah, you're back at the Prospector.
I'm back.
Third semester as a photo editor, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so I just want to point something out before we get to the person who we need to introduce. That is Kristian. After being a co-host on the Prospector podcast, you got promoted, correct?
Yeah, finally.
That means this show leads to promotions, which means I'm doing a good job. Please rehire me, Evelyn, for the fall. Editor's note. My apologies. I didn't pick up the fact that tapping noises could be heard so much. So we can't stop it now since you're already watching, which, by the way, thank you. So we're going to put up a tap counter. Every single time that I tap the table, I'm going to count it, and we're going to calculate the results to see how many times this happened. I'm sorry. I like to talk with my hands. Continue watching the Prospector Podcast Summer Edition. Thank you so much. Anywho, Kahri Reyes, welcome for the first time to the Prospector Podcast. It is a spinoff, I think, because it's the summer. We are in this really cool room with lights, which is also just really cool. This is a little bit like taking me out of my zone a little bit, but also it's still pretty cool. What do you think of the room, Kristian?
It's a change of environment. It's very cozy here. I feel nice.
Okay, so Kahri, you are the official audience and engagement editor. You are a senior. You're entering your last semester at the University of Texas at El Paso. Tell us a little about yourself. What are you majoring in? What are your goals? What are your aspirations? What are your hobbies? Do you like cheese? Stuff like that. Fun stuff.
Honestly, I really do like cheese, especially like with wheat thins. Anyway,
Wait, what type of cheese though?
Asadero or maybe like a little mozzarella cube or something.
Mozzarella cubes, not sticks?
No.
Do you like it drippy?
A little bit, like a little soggy or something, like for texture, but yeah.
Iziah, I see you nodding. Are you a fan of cheese?
I agree. I do like cheese.
Okay, so this is not just a random reference because I didn't know what to talk about. This is a reference to Dr. Richard Pineda, who is leaving us here at UTEP. He always asks for questions and stuff. Iziah, you and I took Intro to Com in the fall of 24. He would always ask us, ask me anything. Ask me what type of cheese you like, things like that. Dr. P, we miss you, and we wish you the best in San Antonio. Anywho, Kahri, first of all, how do you feel being part of the UTEP Prospector? This is your first semester here, and as I do understand it, you're in other organizations around the campus, right?
Yes, I'm actually in AdFed. That's where I met our director, our editor-in-chief, Evelyn. So she granted me this opportunity, and I'm so grateful to be considered, honestly.
So, and what made you want to be part of the Prospector, especially in the position that you're in when thinking about your major?
I guess, like, since I'm nearing off to the end of my degree, I felt very, not unaccomplished, but kind of, because I haven't really focused on anything social media-wise or just anything that comes out of personal, like, business and stuff, like, right, like my own personal Instagram account, right? But I just really wanted to spread out and kind of just taste other environments, and I'm really enjoying this one.
You and Kristian share a lot in common, and I don't just say that because your guys' name starts with K. Because you guys are editors for the first time. So, Kristian, you have been very vocal about wanting the sports editor position for a long time. Yeah. And so now that you have it, I mean, how do you feel? What was your reaction when you got it, and what type of stuff do you want to implement?
Well, I'll start from the beginning. When I was contributor for the spring, I knew that I had to prove myself to everyone here that I'm capable of doing this, because no one knows me around here. Of course, I have like some connections around outside of a.
No one knows me around here, like around campus or around like the entire
Well,
city.
the campus, because even fall 2024, that's when I transferred here.
Mhm.
I didn't know anyone, so I needed to prove myself that I was able to do this. And now I have this job. Now it's all about I got to prove that I can keep this job and I'm able to do it at a good rate.
Well, our boss is right there directing
Yes,
us.
please,
as
Evelyn. I'm trying my best.
as she works. So, fun fact about the studio is that we actually have someone who gets to control whether or not we switch the camera live, and Evelyn is currently doing that for us. She'll be on the show a little later. Exactly. Iziah, now you're on a little bit of a flip side. You've been an editor for a really long time now. So what's that perspective like?
I'm just glad I got my job back. I really like being photo editor. I feel like it's been able to give me more of a creative outlet rather than just taking photos. Like I'm able to help out and teach other people, and it's helped me like discover that I really like teaching people and like spreading what I know. And I'm happy to be back for the summer.
I mean, it's a great summer job. So, like, as an advertising major, like, how do you think that changes the way you upload content to social media instead of like how a journalist would do it?
I guess more of like a design element, like to implement more, just a lot of design editorial kind of thing. I think it's more just messing with my style personally and just kind of including that into the Prospector. But yeah.
Okay. Kristian, you and I have struggled with design today.
Oh, yeah.
There's a new video on YouTube about the Nintendo Switch. Shout out Ximena, who's going to join us a little later for making that thumbnail. Because mine failed horribly. Kristian, shout out to you for getting the graphic for Game 3 of the NBA Finals out. That took such a long time to make, but you did it.
Yeah. I started on Photoshop. That's where I made my first mistake. I should have been on Adobe Illustrator like I am right now.
Well, I tried to make mine on
Hey, Kahri,
PowerPoint.
remember you tried to cut out the basketball?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to talk about that. But yeah, that basketball was not fun.
We won't mention it.
So before we continue, can I just get your guys' goals, what you want out of this summer, and if you also plan to have fun anywhere else, like just tell us, what are your summer plans?
Well, for here or for the Prospector, I really want to write and get into dabbling in video, because video is like the one thing I haven't explored yet. Like I don't think I made any packages, so I definitely want to do like a package or two in the summer and really become a better writer.
Garcia, what do you think of for this
Honestly,
summer?
Same here because like I'm more of the illustrators or like just graphics. I really am having a fun time like editing my videos and stuff because right now I'm working on a package and this one's the first one I've ever done and I'm actually enjoying it. So probably more packages and such.
Kristian, I'll ask you later because you're going to be here for the whole shebang. So you're watching the Prospector podcast, the Summer Spinoff. We have no headphones, which makes it kind of weird to talk a little bit.
Yeah,
does
we
it?
can't hear ourselves, and I feel like I'm deaf, but I can hear myself right now.
Yeah, we're good. It's more like it's a chill convo. This is insane. I feel like we're just like in a basement. Honestly. Have you? But like in a cool basement. Like, have you guys seen that one
We're in the
podcast?
basement of the Sunbowl Garage right now.
You're watching the Prospector podcast, the Summer Spinoff. We'll be back. More editors on the way. I decided that it was weird to not hold anything in my hand, so I took the mic stand out, and you just got a mic stand.
Yeah.
Shout out Iziah Moreno, by the way, who's directing us now. This is still throwing me off so much.
I know.
I mean, it feels like we're like doing like a comedy stand-up rather than a podcast. Like, check this out. Why did chicken cross the road?
Why, Sebastian?
Because it was lonely. I wanted friends. Anywho, welcome back to the Prospector podcast, the Summer Spinoff, because we worked for like 6 weeks, so it's not long enough to be a season. And season 12, part 2, just sounds kind of lame, right?
Yeah.
Does it? Anywho, if you watch the Prospector podcast in the past, our 8 episodes, which are out on YouTube, our website, and Spotify, you should check them out. You should recognize these faces. Ximena, Cordero, Jess Garcia. Welcome back. Jess Garcia also appeared a lot on the podcast last semester and got a promotion, arts and culture editor.
Yes, I
Congratulations.
did. Thank you.
Ximena Cordero staying on the editing staff, this time as our web and copy editor. Welcome back, Ximena.
Thank you.
See, Ximena is going through it right now because she didn't get to go to the Coldplay concert. And to try to mourn with that, she's wearing yellow.
Totally why I chose to wear yellow.
It was all yellow. Kristian's back. Welcome back, Kristian, with your stand.
Oh, thank you.
You wanted to hold your mic originally, now you're just...
Yeah, but my hands started getting sweaty, so I think I really appreciate the mic stand. I really appreciate you for doing that.
And we appreciate Brittany. Hashtag we love you, Brittany. Thank you so much for welcoming us into the education room and into the education building. Anyway, let's get straight into it. Jess, you said from when the summer started, you applied for arts and culture. You got it. How are you feeling?
I got it. I'm feeling really good. Okay, so I found out I got the arts and culture editor position literally like an hour before I boarded a plane. Because I think Evelyn emailed me the night before. I didn't check my emails because I was packing, whatever. And then an hour before I get on the plane to Detroit, I was like, oh my gosh. And then I fell asleep on the plane. And then I didn't tell anyone, right? Because I was out of town. I was busy. I come back. I'm yapping with my friends. And I'm like, yeah, and this is my job this summer. And they were like, you didn't tell anyone. And I was like, sorry.
Well, the thing is, you did a very arts and culture thing because literally when you found out when you got it, you went to a concert.
Yeah. Went out of town. We did so many things in Detroit. We hung out in a forest for a few days.
Oh, so you went to Detroit with your boyfriend, Ryan, right?
Yeah, me and Ryan went to Detroit, and I have 2 cousins who live up there with their partners, which is why we chose Detroit specifically to go see Kendrick.
Was the trip mainly for Kendrick Lamar or just like a family trip that Kendrick just so happened to be there?
I would say it was both because I try to visit. I have cousins spread out like all over the U.S., so I try to visit all of them at least once a year. So it was also convenient where it's like, oh, Kendrick's coming to Detroit during the summer. Let's just make it a family concert trip.
So you're really into music for one. You're really into coffee shops for two.
Yes.
And like literally every single arts and culture topic that we had on this podcast last semester, I felt like Jess was there.
Oh, yeah,
Definitely.
And so now that you're in the position where you're managing literally everything, like how does it change from reporting to managing?
Well, I feel like now I definitely I'm spreading. I have more of a spread out view on like arts and cultures because I think when I would pitch things and as a reporter I would kind of focus on things that I was into, so like coffee shops, music, just things like that. But now I feel like I'm becoming more diverse in what I'm into, and I think it's not just because I'm an editor. It's like I should be looking out for more events, more culturally related things, but it's also like this'll broaden my perspective just as a person, and I think that's really cool because now I'm not just focused on a few things I like. Now I'm kind of more immersed into the culture, trying to see what's new, help other people who are writing stories figure things out. So it's really cool as an editor, but also as a person.
Alaida Muela, our former arts and culture editor of the spring of 25, told us on the podcast that the cool thing about arts and culture is that you really have everything to work with. So when you talk about things that you don't really necessarily feel comfortable with, what type of topics are those that still fall under the arts and culture branch?
I think like specific types of music I get a little iffy with because I just feel like I'm not as knowledgeable. Like I did a jazz story last semester, and that one was kind of new for me because I'm not really immersed into the jazz culture here. So that was like a learning experience for me as well as a new reporting experience. So that was kind of cool. Let me think. What else? I feel like sometimes like authors, literature here in El Paso, like I'm not as well versed in that. I have like a select few books and authors from here that I'm kind of into, but now I get to kind of explore more and discover more things. I feel like something I really want to focus on is also just Mexican American culture as a whole. I kind of want to explore things that they're doing at the Mexican American Cultural Center, things revolving that, which I feel I haven't done too much before. So just those are things that I haven't gotten comfortable with yet, but I think we'll get there.
Okay, so we were having a debate earlier on about a certain story that might come out, that being a Formula One review. Kristian, you said that should fall under sports. We had someone say that should fall under...
It should, it could.
It could. You said it could. Basically, same thing. We said it should fall under opinion. Jess and Ximena is a lifelong F1 fan. She wants to work for F1 eventually. Does that fall under arts and culture? Like, where does that story go under?
I mean, I think...
This is a question for the whole...
Well, why not both? I mean, when you put stuff in labels, it doesn't become...
There's so many parts of Formula... Like, if you're just talking, like, straight up race recap, that's sports. If we're talking, like, F1 movie review or, like, drama or, like,
we're
controversy
talking
that's
movie
happening.
Review.
Okay.
With Brad Pitt, who can't fit in an F1 car, by the way, right?
No, he's way too
No,
tall.
yeah, he's too tall.
And I don't think he's, like, physically fit for to drive.
Yeah, but I mean, movie review, that one's hard because it is technically arts and culture. It goes under the film and television category that we literally have.
Could be opinion.
Could be opinion. Could be sports. I think that's a point proven that
It
F1
can't
is
be
universal.
multimedia because that's pirating.
Well, I mean, all I was saying, we did movie reviews last semester, so technically we did do multimedia.
That's true. Shout out Joe, who's working for D7. Ximena, you recently won a change from audience and engagement to web and copy. How do you deal with the change in positions that comes from, rather than creating content or short form videos, you're now in charge of the website, and even at times having to call the shots when it comes to cut lines, stories that are incomplete, graphics that are needed, etc.?
I think it definitely helped that I was a staff reporter for 2 semesters before that, because of course from my own writing I kind of learned how to self-edit, and then also as like audience engagement I was also editing some of the stories when we needed them. So I feel like that transition was definitely easier because I know what to look for, because I know what mistakes I've made in my own writing that I can be like, oh, that's like a common mistake, or that's something that a lot of people just do, because AP style and like normal writing is definitely very different.
Yeah.
So even if you have been a staff reporter for like 2-3 semesters, you still have those little habits of like regular writing. So I think it's definitely an easier transition. Definitely still something to adapt to, especially the website and learning how to control that. But besides that, it's pretty good.
Do you ever feel like all the power is in your hands? Like the website, like the control of the website is literally just on your computer at all times. Like, do you ever get nervous with that?
Yeah, I feel like even in audience engagement and now in this, it definitely feels like a lot of power, because it's like I could literally just be like, publish, and like it could be the most random, like wrong thing. But I think as journalists, we do have to learn how to handle that pressure and how to, make sure that everything is right. That's kind of what this whole thing is about. So yeah, a little stressful at times, but you just have to make sure you know what you're doing.
So then, Evelyn was our web and copy editor last semester, Evelyn Palma. She's now our boss, who gave us all jobs. Thank you, Evelyn.
Thank you, Evelyn.
Thank you, Evelyn. She'll be on the podcast a little later, or literally after this segment. So she was saying when she got the position last semester that she really wanted to be creative with it, keep up polls, make stories have a different feel, but at the same time, some websites can be too constricting in like literally the access that you have to it or the creativity you're able to put on it. Maybe you can't put a certain photo, or maybe it limits you on like the fonts you want to choose. How do you unleash that creativity, especially in a semester which isn't as stressful as if we were in fall and spring when the majority of us were taking like 4 or 5 classes at a time?
Yeah, I think first step one is having our staff be creative themselves, like either pitching creative stories or having a creative angle with it. That in itself is doing half of the work. But of course, making sure like the website one looks nice, and then of course Evelyn taught me a lot of little tricks of how to like embed videos and tweets and stuff to make it look not only like professional, but like really more eye-catching altogether. So I think that's how you kind of can balance that creativity and not losing it from like this original story that people posted, not editing it to be like, overly newsy where it's like, well, there's no life in it anymore.
Then Kristian, that's a great point, Ximena. Kristian, I want to bring up with you then, as a sports editor, are there any plans to maybe include that type of content, whether it be sports clips to a recap story or tweets to a sports story, or anything that can be done with sports that makes it more eye-popping than just having to focus on the words?
Well, to me, I kind of want to broaden what sports can bring to us. Maybe even talk about
Rugby coverage. I'm like,
imagine if there was the rugby club here, that'd be really fun too. Or even talk about Vado Speedway, the racetrack up here where Las Cruces is. I would love to do that too. Or even do more profile features where we talk about like the women's basketball team. A lot of them are international, from Serbia, Italy, or Spain. Just talking about that culture shock of being over here, of El Paso of all places where it's really diverse over here. I'd want to talk about that too. Or like their experiences of just going to a whole new place, not knowing anyone, just trying to follow their dreams.
well, currently in the summer, it's sure not a lot of sports are going on, but at the end of the day, basketball, football, and other sports, they're literally building upon their next seasons. Golf and track and field just ended at the end of last semester or going into this summer. So an open invitation to all sports. You are always welcome on the Prospector podcast. Anybody who wants to come on, you are welcome. That is my shameless plug for the day.
Please, Scotty Walden.
Please, Scotty Walden, Joe Golden, Keitha Adams, you are welcome to join us. This is our invitation. This basement is really nice. Education building. Shout out, Brittany. Anywho,
Shout out.
that's the end of this segment. Stay tuned. You're watching the Prospector podcast, the Summer Spinoff. Do you guys like that name? I think that name is
I
pretty
think the summer
Cute.
spin-off works.
Spin-off? I like
Yes.
spinning.
Do you like spinning?
No.
We could spin in these chairs
my
if you think
God.
about it. I won't do it.
I don't have a
because-
spinny
Disney.
chair.
Oh.
Yeah.
Aw.
Anywho, our boss is coming up next. Don't leave us. You're watching the Prospector podcast. I can't get over the fact that we have multiple cameras in here. Shout out Kahri Reyes right now, who is on the podcast. It is now directing. Yeah, we have a new position at the Prospector, directing this podcast.
Yeah.
Straight up.
We made it like 10 minutes ago. So.
We did. This is not a made up position. This is a real thing.
It's been passed around.
We are very organized.
10 minutes.
Welcome back to the Prospector podcast, the summer spinoff. Kristian Hernandez has been with me the entire episode. Iziah Moreno is back co-hosting.
Back.
And we have our boss. Everybody behave well. Evelyn Palma is joining us, our editor-in-chief. Evelyn, welcome back to the Prospector podcast.
Thank you.
So, you are the new editor-in-chief. So first of all, you got to tell us, how did it feel the moment you got selected to fill in that role?
Oh, it was super crazy. So they let us know the day we did interviews. And I was driving home, and every time I would get like a notification, I'm like, I don't want to be on my phone while I'm driving. Then
That's
I was at a red light. I go to notification. I was like, I saw it from Outlook, from email. So I like clicked on it, and I'm like, and then it said Prospector interview in the subject, and I was like, oh my god, oh my god. I was like on the phone with my boyfriend, and so he's like on my Bluetooth, and I'm like, should I pull over? What do I do? And so yeah, I eventually did check the email, and I read it, and it's like, good evening, Evelyn. Thank you for interviewing with the Prospector for the position. I was like, rejection, right? And it's like, congratulations. I was like, oh my god. I was freaking out. I was like, oh my god. I was like on the phone. I was like, oh my god. What, I can't believe it. Can you believe it? Oh my god, I can't believe it. And it was just like hyperventilating. It was really crazy, but it was really exciting. I was like in a bit of shock. I wasn't expecting it, but something about my interview felt really good. So I was just really happy, honestly, with how it turned out. And it was literally like I spent the day celebrating, and then I got home and I sent the email accepting the position. And I literally got started like the next day practically, and just been working since.
No breaks?
No, literally that same week I started working. I interviewed all you guys like the following week, and then you guys started last week. So this is like my 4th week working of the summer so far. So it's been exciting.
Do you feel like you hit the ground running, or is it more just?
I did.
Yeah.
I think I took like the first couple days just to like be excited. And then I started getting my notebook and writing all my ideas down of like what I wanted to do. The rest of the week wasn't too bad. The following week, I already started doing meetings and stuff with Vero and Crystal, and yeah, felt like fast, but it was good.
So, and as much as you can tell us, what was that interview process like?
So I was aware that it was a committee, and it was over Teams, so it was an online interview, and they just ask a lot of questions about how they could see you as editor-in-chief and what your vision for the position is, what your vision for the publication is. And I was honestly really nervous. I felt like I was rambling a little bit. And so towards the end, I kind of thought like, oh, I'm taking up a lot of time, because they were interviews in 30-minute increments. And I think all the slots were like filled. So I was just like, I don't want to bleed into the next one. And so my answers started getting shorter. And it was just like, I don't know how you guys feel during interviews, but at the end, you're kind of just like overthinking everything, replaying it all and wondering how it went. But yeah, it was the whole Student Media and Publications Committee, and they just ask you your questions and you respond. And yeah, I've never done an online interview, so it was really different for me, but it was cool.
You know, I always envision like the EIC interviews being you enter a room and for some reason like all the tables are bigger than you. It's kind of like you're talking.
Drama.
Yeah.
The councils like that.
I feel like, have you ever
Star
watched
Wars?
like, or like the Fairly Odd Parents episode, right? Like Iziah, you're laughing. You've seen that episode, right?
Yeah.
Timmy Turner enters.
Timmy
it's
We'll
like-
put a photo up. Just,
Yeah, so Timmy Turner enters like a cave. He's surrounded by a bunch of like hooded people, like the Supreme Court of like Fairly Odd Parents or whatever. Like I always envision it like that for some reason. I don't know why.
I envisioned it something similar, like more intimidating. I envision like you walk into a room, it's like a long table, it's like a little dark, like you sit in the front, but no, it was just online, it was just on Teams.
So you spent your first semester with the Prospector just last semester,
Yes.
and you're graduating literally this fall. Yet, despite that, you've had internships with the Sun Bowl. At the same time, you're part of multiple organizations here at UTEP, including the National Association of Hispanic Journalists. Which, fun fact, we all in this table are officers.
Yeah.
That is
Shout
insane.
out NEHJ, UTEP chapter.
That is insane. Do you forgive me for being late to my officer speech now?
I was, oh my God.
that was a horrible day.
That was so stressful for me. I was
Hey.
like sweating for you. Like I can't defend him. He's late. What do I do?
No, and then like the best part was Miss Gannon just said, Miss Gannon is the multimedia journalist professor here. You guys should have just pushed the meeting.
Oh yeah.
Hey.
She said, how about 5:30?
Yeah,
Maybe
she was
who
like,
Hey, I did it
you
for
could
the
just let us know
Prospector though.
sooner.
I did it for the Prospector though. Does that? I thought about mentioning that in my interview.
It's
Honest,
because
if I'm being honest.
it was 4 segments instead of 3. So
Yeah.
it took way longer.
Well, it was the graduation episode. You don't want to
Yeah.
cut anybody off in the
I was
graduation.
stressing, and I had
episode.
class that day. Too.
You had class?
Yeah, after the meeting, I went straight to class. Straight to class, I had to go home or something. So
that was
Yeah.
a crazy day.
So, Iziah, you're the treasurer of NAHJ, correct?
I am.
So, not getting off topic off from the Prospector, but since we all share that commonality, as well as Ximena, who is the social media chair at NAHJ. Iziah, how do you go about just managing money? I personally, I kind of just suck at math. Math has never been my strongest subject, so I want to know, like, how do you go about it?
I'm actually really
President's
excited
listening, by the way.
I'm actually really excited to be treasurer this upcoming fall because I really want to like get more into, I guess, like fundraisers for NAHJ. I want to like look into like what I can do for it and do like, because I think we only had like one last semester, so I definitely want to push a little more as much as I can. And I don't know, it's just like exciting to me for some odd reason because I really hate math, but I'm like actually excited to be a treasurer.
Kristian, I love you, but I need you to remind me. What's
Oh,
your position
thanks.
again?
I'm the secretary.
The secretary. Okay, so you basically manage all of us, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
So how do you feel about that?
I'm really nervous, honestly. It felt like an impulse decision, but I'm really glad I took it.
An impulse
know?
decision.
Yeah. I was like, how about I do it? I should just do it. I need to get out of my comfort zone. So now I'm here. It's something that I've been thinking about recently. Like, okay, I need to set up for the fall. I need to get ready for the fall. I need to make sure I get sports editor for the fall. It's more just making sure I don't feel like I'm hitting the ground running. It's more that I'm able to be prepared for the fall, and I'm excited for the fall.
So since there's so many people in the Prospector that not only hold officer positions at NAHJ, but are also editors at the student newspaper, Evelyn is president of NAHJ and as EIC of the Prospector, literally the Thanos of journalism.
Like he's gonna step us.
Are there any plans to maybe collaborate those two organizations?
I've considered maybe like workshops and things like that could be joint, but I don't want to lose the identity of either or because they are two separate things. The Prospector is not a student organization, it's not a club, it's an official publication. NEHJ is a chapter of a national organization, and I wanted to say that too. As editor-in-chief and president of the respective ones, I want to present opportunities to both. So if there's positions available at the Prospector, I'll let NEHJ know. Or if there's positions available at NEHJ, I want to let the Prospector know. Because I think that both places are great developmental places for students. And I just want to make sure, I guess like my passion in that is to help other people and to kind of guide them so it's a less scary profession. I think what we see here at UTEP is that there's not a lot of journalism majors, not a lot of people that are serious about it. And I think that's the reason why the editors here are officers over there, because those are the people that are willing to go the extra mile, willing to take the initiative, and willing to actually take it seriously. And I hope that we can get more people like that, encourage more people at UTEP, and just make a name for multimedia journalism here. So that's the goal.
From my understanding, you've been president of that organization for a full academic year now or more.
A full academic year, I started in the fall.
So does obviously you have experience with leadership, but does leading a chapter rather than a publication, do those leadership boundaries or the management skill you need to have, does it change or does it differ between chapter and publication, if anything at all is different?
I think, yes, it's different, but in a way, it's more similar than not. I think the way I'm trying to approach this editor-in-chief position is the way I did for the presidency at NEHJ. For the fall, we weren't as active as I would have liked to be, although I was really trying to rebuild. And I think in the spring, kind of towards the last leg of it, we really got things going a little, and I just want to continue that. So through that, I saw what worked and what didn't, especially dealing with different personalities in the other officer positions. I think that taught me a lot on ways to communicate, ways to organize, and just the systems that work. The Prospector is really different in that I have more positions to delegate, and again, it's an official publication. It's a little more serious. But I want to approach the organization of it all the same way. Because if I get disorganized with one thing, like, I don't want everything to, like, crumble and you see me at the head of it and go, oh, what happened? So, yeah, it's just really staying on top of things, staying organized, and delegating. That's the best thing that I've learned as a leader.
Well, then, question for everybody here at this table. Iziah, I'll ask you a little bit differently because I already asked this to you. But what are your goals for the summer? And Iziah, now that you enter your third semester as photo editor, what do you look to grow and evolve upon when it comes to taking photos?
Something I want to, like, I guess, grow more is really just, it sounds repetitive, but just, like, doing stuff I haven't done before. Like, I'm really not, like, a sports photographer or, like, a news photographer. So I want to become, like, good at that. And I also, like, since this is, like, my second semester with the Prospector as photo editor, technically, I kind of have, like, the hang of how to work with different personalities in terms of photographers, like what.
Different personalities?
I meant, like, in the sense of, like, different people.
Okay.
And, like, how to. Am I making sense?
Yeah,
like,
you are.
Yeah.
Like navigating that and trying to connect with people like that.
Yeah.
I just like to play instigate.
And how to make people feel a little more comfortable, because I know this is like could be a terrifying place coming in. Like I know I was terrified when I came in here, but I feel like I have a better hang of it, and I really want to do the best I can.
Well, because you've worked for the Prospector your entire collegiate career, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in the process from being a contributor to being photo editor this summer, then going back to staff photography, to being photo editor, now staying in that position, how many amount of lessons did you learn during that time span?
A lot. I've definitely learned like some good and bad, some that were like a little bit of a slap in the face, others that were but in a good way that helps me better myself. But I feel like the lessons I've learned have helped me become, even outside of, I guess, photography, help like better the person I am. Because I feel like if I wasn't doing all this, I still would have been just like in shambles, like not knowing what I wanted to do in college. And I'm very grateful for it.
Kristian, I waited to ask you this question until the very end. Now, as sports editor for the summer, what are your plans, goals, and what are the things you want to do during these next couple of weeks?
Well, number one on my mind right now is learn InDesign. Because if I want that position in the fall, I need to learn my stuff,
Layout
like
and everything.
And since fall is like, well, for local sports, really, it's only the Locomotive and the Chihuahuas. That's only two, and it's more like I need to make something bigger, because I can't just have those two pictures like, all right, Locomotive's in town, take it. And then I'm like, what else do I do there? I really want to broaden a little bit more. And then what Crystal said too is like get in touch with the volleyball team and the football team, seeing what they're doing for the fall, and just try and make that connection and see what they're doing for the summer as well, just to try and show that there's so much more sports going on. Just like you said, like there's more than just recaps going on. Like, oh, game 3, here's what happened, and then just leaving it at that. I would really want to just go in depth more of sports and everything that is there.
Evelyn, we saved the EIC for last. You have your job assured for the summer and the fall. And with that amount of time before you graduate, what are your goals?
My goals are to become more confident in myself as a journalist and become more confident in myself as a leader. I need to be confident that I can teach you guys wrong from right and what to do and how to better yourselves. So it's going to be a really crazy semester for the fall, especially with graduation approaching, trying to get a job and stuff. But I think the best thing for me right now is to take it day by day, live in the moment, and just knock things off the to-do list one at a time. So yeah, I want to be more confident in myself as a journalist. I want to write more. I want to photograph more with Iziah's help and just become more attuned to the news world.
Evelyn Palma, Iziah Moreno, Kristian Hernandez, Ximena Cordero, Jess Garcia, and Kahri Reyes, thank you so much for putting on, I think, the most unique episode of this podcast. First time, I think, in Prospector history where it's being filmed in here. And I feel like we're in like a Friends episode, if I'm being honest. This table feels like
I
a
love the
coffee.
ambiance.
I never watched Friends.
You need to watch Friends.
Did I? Whoa, I just offended everyone in the room.
We might decorate this table for the next episode, which will come out soon. But for now, check out our content on the www.prospectordaily.com. We have a Nintendo Switch video. Hopefully we have a Coldplay video. We should have a concert video out. At the same time, numerous articles are coming out as well, covering sports, news, you name it, we got it. You're watching the Summer Spinoff of the Prospector podcast. I'm Sebastian Perez-Navarro, and we are over and out.